Okay, action. And today we're going to be reading from Science of Self-Realization, Chapter 2, The Spiritual Master, and the section is called, What is a Guru? Okay. In the disciplic succession, we simply find a repetition of the same object. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:34, Sri Krishna says, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyuktva atmanam mat parayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. These very instructions were reiterated by all the acharyas, such as Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 6 Goswamis also transmitted the same message, and we are simply following in their footsteps. There is no difference. We do not interpret the words of Krishna by saying, in my opinion, the battlefield of Kurukshetra represents the human body. Such interpretations are set forth by rascals. In the world, there are many rascal gurus who give their own opinion. But we can challenge any rascal. A rascal guru may say, I am God, or we are all God. That is all right, but we should find out from the dictionary what the meaning of God is. Generally, a dictionary will tell us that the word God indicates the Supreme Being. Thus, we may ask such a guru, are you the Supreme Being? Hey Hans, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm recording it just for you. Okay. If you cannot understand this, then we should give the meaning of supreme. Any dictionary will inform us that supreme means the greatest authority. We may then ask, are you the greatest authority? Such a rascal guru, even though proclaiming himself to be God, cannot answer such a question. God is the supreme being and the highest authority. No one is equal to him or greater than him. Yet there are many guru gods, many rascals who claim to be the supreme. Such rascals cannot help us escape the darkness of material existence. They cannot illuminate our darkness with the torchlight of spiritual knowledge. The bona fide guru will simply present what the supreme guru, God, says in bona fide scripture. A guru cannot change the message of the disciplic succession. We must understand that we cannot carry out research to find the absolute truth. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said, my Guru Maharaj, my spiritual master, considered me a great fool. Hey, Devin's here. Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining. So we're reading from the Science of Self-Realization, the chapter 2, titled The Spiritual Master, and the section title is What is a Guru? Because if we don't know what a guru is or what a spiritual teacher is, then it's going to be hard to find one. So we have to find out who's qualified to speak transcendental knowledge. Okay. So, he who remains a great fool before his guru is a guru himself. However, if one says, I am so advanced that I can speak better than my guru, he is simply a rascal. And that reminds me, it's a good point. I forgot to say my invocation mantras and prayers to my spiritual masters. So I'm going to do that before we begin any kind of discussion. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Keshava Bharati Das Goswami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. So for those who are new, the prayers I just chanted, those are invocation prayers, but also offering respects to our previous teachers. The one beginning with Om Jnana-timirandasya means that I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master He opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances or my respects unto his lotus feet. And then the next mantras were offering respects to my initiating spiritual master who gave me spiritual life, basically taught me about Krishna consciousness, gave me the mantra in a spiritual name. And then also Srila Prabhupada, who is just here above my head in the white, just there on that side. That's Srila Prabhupada, who brought this knowledge out to the rest of the world from India. And then, so there's two mantras I chanted, which are offering respects to him. And because of his carrying out the mission of the previous teachers and the Lord's instructions, he's therefore very dear. Okay. So now we'll continue. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Evam para praptam imam rajo shayo vidu sakala nihimhata yoganashta parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Taking on a guru is not simply a fashion. One who is serious about understanding spiritual life requires a guru. A guru is a question of necessity, for one must be very serious to understand spiritual life, God, proper action, and one's relationship with God. When we are very serious about understanding these subjects, we need a guru. We shouldn't go to a guru simply because a guru may be fashionable at the moment. Surrender must be there, for without surrender we cannot learn anything. If we go to a guru simply to challenge him, we will learn nothing. We must accept the guru just as Arjuna accepted his guru, Sri Krishna himself. Karpanya dosho pahatasvabhava prachami tvam dharma samudachetaha yachreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapanam. Now I am confused. This is a translation from a verse in the Bhagavad Gita of Arjuna's surrender. But now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I'm your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 7. This is the process for accepting the guru. The guru is Krishna's representative. The former acharyas, or previous teachers, representative. Krishna says that all acharyas are his representatives. Therefore, acharya means one who teaches by example, who's living spiritually and living according to the revealed scriptures or texts and the instructions of Krishna, and therefore they're living in an exemplary way. Therefore, the guru should be offered the same respect one would offer to God. As Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in his prayers to the spiritual master, Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasadaha. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Thus, if we surrender to the bona fide guru, we surrender to God. God accepts our surrender to the guru. In the Bhagavad Gita 1866, Krishna instructs, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayashyami ma shuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Someone may argue, where is Krishna? I shall surrender to him. But no, the process is that we first surrender to Krishna's representative. Then we surrender to Krishna. Therefore it is said, Sakshad Daritvaina Samasta Shastrai. The Guru is as good as God. When we offer respects to the Guru, we are offering respects to God. Because we are trying to be God conscious, it requires that we learn how to offer respects to God through God's representative. In all the Shastras or all the scriptures, the Guru is described to be as good as God. But the Guru never says, I am God. The disciple's duty is to offer respect to the Guru just as he offers respect to God. But the Guru never thinks, quote, my disciples are offering me the same respect they offer to God. Therefore I have become God. End quote. As soon as he thinks like this, he becomes a dog instead of God. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Kintu Prabhurya Priya Evatasya. Because he is the most confidential servitor of God, the Guru is offered the same respect that we offer God. God is always God. Guru is always Guru. As a matter of etiquette, God is the worshipable God, and Guru is the worshipper God. Sevaka Bhagavan. Therefore, the Guru is addressed as Prabhupada. The word Prabhu means Lord, and Pada means position. Thus, Prabhupada means he who has taken the position of the Lord. This is the same as Sakshad Dharitvaina Samasta Shastrai. Only if we are very serious about understanding the science of God is a guru required. We should not try to keep a guru as a matter of fashion. Okay. Hey, Arjuna's here too. Hey, welcome Arjuna and Brennan. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
We should not try to keep a guru as a matter of fashion. One who has accepted a guru speaks intelligently. He never speaks nonsense. That is the sign of having accepted a bona fide guru. We should certainly offer all respect to the spiritual master, but we should also remember how to carry out his orders. In the Bhagavad Gita 4:34, Sri Krishna himself tells us the method of seeking out and approaching the guru. Tadviti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. The first process is that of surrender. We have to find an exalted person and willingly surrender before him. The Shastras enjoin that before we take a guru, we study him carefully to find out whether we can surrender to him. We should not accept a guru suddenly, out of fanaticism. That is very dangerous. The guru should also study the person who wants to become a disciple to see if he is fit. That is the way of a relationship. That is the way a relationship is established between the guru and disciple. Everything is provided, but we must take up the process seriously. Then we can be trained to become a bona fide disciple. First, we must find a bona fide guru, establish our relationship with him, and act accordingly. Then our life will be successful, for the guru can enlighten the sincere disciple who is in darkness. Everyone is born a rascal and a fool. If we are born learned, why do we need to go to school? If we do not cultivate knowledge, we are no better than animals. An animal may say that there is no need of books and that he has become a guru. But how can anyone obtain knowledge without the study of authoritative books on science and philosophy? Rascal gurus try to avoid these things. We must understand that we are all born rascals and fools and that we have to be enlightened. We have to receive knowledge to make our lives perfect. If we do not perfect our lives, we are defeated. What is this defeat? The struggle for existence. We are trying to obtain a better life, to attain a superior position, and for this we are struggling very hard. But we do not know what a superior position actually is. Whatever position we have in this material world must be given up. We may have a good position or a bad position. In any case, we cannot remain here. We may earn millions of dollars and think, now I am in a good position. But a little dysentery or cholera will finish our position. If the bank fails, our position is gone. So actually, there is no good position in this material world. It is a farce. Those who try to attain a better position in the material world are ultimately defeated, because there is no better position. The Bhagavad Gita 14:26 says that the better position is Mam chayo vyavicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahmabhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in the spiritual activities of unalloyed devotional service at once transcends the modes of material nature and is elevated to the spiritual platform. Is there any science that gives us the knowledge by which we may become immortal? Yes, we may become immortal, but not in the material sense. We cannot receive this knowledge in so-called universities. However, there is knowledge contained in the Vedic scriptures by which we may become immortal. That immortality is our better position. No more birth, no more death, no more old age, no more disease. Thus the guru takes on a very great responsibility. he must guide his disciple and enable him to become an eligible candidate for the perfect position, immortality. The guru must be competent to lead his disciple back home, back to Godhead. Okay, that's the end of that section. And the next section is called Separating the Saints from the Swindlers. So if there's any discussion before we move into the next, we can pause here. Make sure. Hey, Devin, you got something?
Thank you for the invitation. I just wanted to say thank you for the invitation and that
Oh,
I
right.
have enjoyed following along, but I have to go to work now.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for tuning in while you could. I'm grateful.
Hare Krishna,
Uh,
Devin.
yeah, Hare Krishna. I'm excited to come back and learn more. I'll see y'all next time.
All right, brother. Thank you. Hold on, is it Devon or Davon?
Um,
How do I
I'm not
pronounce
really. I'm.
it?
I always let people decide on their own. I've never corrected anybody. I introduce myself as Devin though.
Okay, okay. That comes off easier for me.
Okay, cool.
All right. See
All
ya.
right, well, Hare Krishna, Devin. Have a good one.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Y'all have a good one too.
Thanks. All right. Now we're going to separate the saints.
Before we go, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Brennan, what's up?
Hi. So I did take the Guru Tattva class, and I was always amazed by one simple thing. Why would anybody want to be a guru? The responsibility is so enormous, right? I mean, here you've got people that have collected these, karma, and then to accept that, right? And I mean, it is such a responsibility. Why would anybody want to do it?
Yeah, that's a really good question because what it indicates is really what Srila Prabhupada was saying here. He said that these so-called gurus, they don't want to study the books. They think without studying, they become guru. And therefore it shows that they don't know what it means to become a guru. And therefore they don't know that that position means you're taking on all the sinful, you're burning up all their sinful and good reactions. You're burning up their karma. But they don't do that, and therefore they actually are sent to a very dark position by taking the role of a guru, yet not having the qualification, and therefore misleading people with impure knowledge. Yeah, it's a heavy reaction actually for those who do that kind of thing.
So, does it say what the consequence of such a thing is?
Yeah, we can find it's probably it certainly would be in the Dharma Shastras, but there's probably places that Srila Prabhupada mentions it, and I'll look into it and send you if you're interested
I'd
in
be very, I mean, because
hearing what. I'm sure it's not a pretty sight. I bet you can find it in the
no,
canon.
but I mean, I am aspiring, and it's like I feel bad. I'll be honest. I don't want him to take the stuff that I've gone through in my life. Like nobody should have to, and for other people, it's even, I'm sure, much much worse than what I've gone through. And I mean, it's if I don't
Yeah,
know,
there's
it's
they
so.
just I mean
Whew.
it's a whole group effort. This is spirituality is not it's not just like isolated. So the spiritual master is connected to their spiritual master, or in most senses, it would be Srila Prabhupada or one of his disciples, and then Srila Prabhupada is connected to Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, and like that, there's a whole chain of extremely empowered persons, all the way to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna himself. So we
Right, but the
we
thing
are
is that
still
it goes from the roots, right? I mean,
yeah.
if the water is tainted, right? If the water is tainted and the tree sucks up the water, it's not just, I mean, the roots are going to die, the bark, the trunk, the
Yeah.
branches, it's you know
Brennan,
what I'm saying?
you're not
I mean,
Brennan.
you just
Brennan,
yeah.
Brennan, I gotta break it to you, but there's no way that you could be sinful enough to contaminate the Guru Parampara. They, they they can burn our karma up like a I don't know what it would be, some little like candle maybe. Not even that.
Like a
It'd be like
bushfire.
yeah, bush. It'd be poof. It's just a poof. There's nothing for them to handle. It's like even Vasudev Datta. Vasudev Datta, he's an intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in tears and so much anxiety. He was crying and begging. He said, "Please give me give me all the karma of every being in this universe and let them all go back home and let me suffer here." And Lord Chaitanya then himself started crying. He said, "Just by your desire, how this the purity and the intensity of your desire, it's already done. They're already being liberated." So this is the quality of the Lord, that actually the pure devotees don't have to suffer our reactions, because the purity of their desires simply to liberate and bring us back is so pleasing to the Lord that he's not going to cause them to suffer. But if they're, if they're not at a position where they're qualified to take on those reactions or to burn that up with their devotion, then they can get pulled down. That's why it's recommended that unless one's like an Uttama Adhikari Mahabhagavat, very elevated Vaishnav, they should not take too many disciples. So anyway, that's a point.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was amazingly insightful. Thank you.
Yeah, wow. I'm so fortunate. Yogi's on the call.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if I surrender to a guru, they're not gonna like look at my like life and be like, oh, this person has too much karma that I would hate to accept, or like
No,
I would hate to take on as my own.
uh,
So is it like that?
if they're thinking like that, they wouldn't be in that position. That wouldn't be their mentality. I mean, they may there are persons, say if one's not strong, say they're not like advanced enough, you can see maybe they know their position. Most by that, if they're at the position of where they're initiating disciples, they should know about where they're at devotionally, and they should recognize if there's, if they're looking at a candidate that maybe like they can see clearly has got some very heavy karma, they may let them chant for some time longer, maybe like just to let them get some preliminary purification and then give them initiation. But I mean, as far as I've ever heard or seen, I haven't seen that be the case.
Hmm.
That would be like a, I mean, that's like a consideration. Someone who's contaminated and fallen like me, like I wouldn't be able to give anybody initiation. I'm really fallen, so I'm like I would be selective because I'd be afraid. So therefore, I'm not qualified to be a guru. So it's like that. I'm thinking because if a guru is not doing it for their own well-being, they're doing it for the betterment of the people they're coming in contact with. They're trying to uplift people and connect them to Krishna consciousness. So yeah,
But the guru does, in one way or form, take on the karma of the disciple.
yeah. They accept it. I mean,
Hmm.
they burn it up. Though, that's what I'm saying. Like if because their devotion is strong, they're very fixed in their determination and sincerity, and there's purity. Therefore, bhakti burns up those reactions.
Hmm.
So they don't, yeah. But Srila Prabhupada did say, like, describe that, sometimes the disciples, if he's initiated disciples and they're acting in a very degraded way, they're not following the principles and they're doing these things, then the spiritual master does experience something from that. Sometimes they'll fall sick or different things will happen. And Hanuman
Hmm.
Pushak Maharaj described once, he said he was in South America and he did, an initiate, maybe it was like a large initiation, a couple, I don't know how many people, but he said it was pretty heavy. Like you can karmically, he saw these people had some very heavy karma, but he did it. And one of the scriptures describes that, was when you take on heavy karma, usually it'll manifest like like on his foot, basically. He said something about getting hurt on the foot. And right after that initiation, he like was going through a door and the door just sliced this big cut in the top of his foot. And so sometimes the guru may experience something like that after a very heavy initiation. I don't know, I mean, it depends on the person.
Hmm. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, but Vaisheshika Guru gave another angle just to flush this out a little more, fluff it out maybe. He described that, there is okay, we have this mystical side of it, which is like, they may experience the karmic reactions of or different things, but he's also he brought it down to a more practical level and said that really when the guru accepts the karma of a disciple, it also means they get involved in their life. The guru is like a part, like say if there's a family and the guru is the initiating spiritual master of the family, the guru is literally he's a part of their life. He's there personally with them in the family when they visit, dealing with they're asking questions, very personal questions about their situations, and he's giving advice and guidance, and therefore he's taking on some of the karma. He's entering into their circumstances to uplift them, and that way he's dealing with their karma. So that's a very practical way you can see that they're taking on the karma. But because they keep themselves very strong spiritually, they don't get pulled into it the same way the disciples may be getting pulled into it. Therefore, they can direct them out.
I just had such an interesting thought. So, in the pagan, which obviously we predate, right? There's no question. So, in today's parlance, we talk about tying the knot, right? And it literally comes from two people that are going to get married. They would actually bind them. What you said struck such a chord, no pun intended, right? Because when the chanting beads are given over, right, that acceptance, it is as if the knot has been tied between these two individuals, between the guru and the disciple. And I mean, it just occurred to me. I've got goosebumps all over my body, but that is such a powerful thing, such a powerful image.
Yeah, it's very personal, and it's not just some, mystical, vague thing. It's like they're actually a part
Correct.
of our journey here, and they're guiding us out of it.
Right. And by virtue of the fact that we chant the mantra, it fortifies it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's our link.
Correct.
Following
It's
the vow.
amazing. This is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah, we're following the vow. The spiritual master says it's like a doctor. He gives a prescription, he says, you do this, and then we also take their guidance. You chant these rounds and you don't do these things. And you eat Krishna Prasadam. Okay, Captain, here I go. And we do it, and we see the effect. And then we hit something we're having difficulty with, and we go to the spiritual master. We ask them how to do it. And they help. I'm stuck. So similarly, we have doctors do the same thing. They come and deal with our situations and help us. And typically, hey, Barry's here too. Hare Krishna. And
Thank
a
you so
doctor
much.
in Ayurvedic doctors, like traditional sense, it's like they know the family for generations, or they may know like that family of doctors has been serving maybe one family for many generations. So it's like they know each other very well, and they know, from very young children, they know, okay, when you're having this thing, what's needed to be done. So somebody, the spiritual master, can know the family so well because they're seeing all the kids grow up and they're guiding them and directing them throughout their whole life, and they know how to direct them in a way that's most beneficial for them. So there's a very intimate connection. Okay. So let's continue on. We're going to separate the saints from the swindlers. Swindlers. Srila Prabhupada speaks out in an interview with the London Times. If you want to be cheated, you will find many cheating gurus. But if you are sincere, you will find a sincere guru. The genuine guru is God's representative, and he speaks about God and nothing else. A genuine guru is not a businessman. He is a representative of God. Whatever God says, the guru repeats. He does not speak otherwise. Reporter: Your Grace, it seems that more people than ever are seeking some kind of spiritual life. I wonder if you could tell me why this is so. Srila Prabhupada: The desire for spiritual life is an absolutely natural hankering, because we are spirit souls. We cannot be happy in the material atmosphere. If you take a fish out of the water, it cannot be happy on land. Similarly, if we are without spiritual consciousness, we can never be happy. Today, so many people are after scientific advancement and economic development, but they are not happy because because these are not the actual goals of life. Many young people are realizing this, and they are rejecting materialistic life and are trying to search for spiritual life. Actually, this is the proper search. Krishna consciousness is the proper goal of life. Unless you take to Krishna consciousness, you cannot be happy. That is a fact. Therefore, we invite everyone to study and understand this great movement. Reporter: What frankly worries me is that since the arrival in Britain of some time ago of an Indian yogi who was the quote-unquote guru, or the first quote-unquote guru that most people had ever heard of, a lot of gurus, so-called quote-unquote gurus, have suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Sometimes I get the feeling that not all of them are as genuine as they ought to be. Would it be right to warn people who are thinking of taking up spiritual life that they should make sure that they have a genuine guru to teach them? Srila Prabhupada: Yes, of course, to search out the guru is very nice, but if you want a cheap guru, or if you want to be cheated, then you will find many cheating gurus. But if you are sincere, you will find a sincere guru. Because people want everything very cheaply, they are cheated. We ask our students to refrain from illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. People think that this is all very difficult, a botheration. But if someone else says, you may do whatever nonsense you like, simply take my mantra, then people will like him. The point is that people want to be cheated, and therefore cheaters come. No one wants to undergo any austerity. Human life is meant for austerity, but no one is prepared to undergo austerity. Consequently, cheaters come and say, no austerity, whatever you like, you do, simply pay me, and I'll give you some mantra, and you'll become God in 6 months. All this is going on. If you want to be cheated like this, the cheaters will come. Reporter: What about the person who seriously wants to find spiritual life, but who happens to finish up with the wrong guru? Srila Prabhupada: If you simply want an ordinary education, you have to devote so much time, labor, and understanding to it. Similarly, if you are going to take to spiritual life, you must become serious. How is it that simply by some wonderful mantras, someone can become God in 6 months? Why do people want something like that? This means that they want to be cheated. Reporter: How can a person tell he has a genuine guru? Srila Prabhupada: Can any of my students answer this question? Disciple: Once I remember John Lennon asked you, how will I know who is the genuine guru? And you answered, just find out the one who is most addicted to Krishna. He is genuine. Srila Prabhupada: Yes. The genuine guru is God's representative, and he speaks about God and nothing else. The genuine guru is he who has no interest in materialistic life. He's after God, and God only. That is one of the tests of a genuine guru, Brahmanishtam. He is absorbed in the absolute truth. Okay. In the Mundaka Upanishad it is stated, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. The genuine guru is well versed in the scriptures and Vedic knowledge, and he is completely dependent on Brahman. He should know what Brahman or spirit is and how to become situated in Brahman. These signs are given in the Vedic literature. As I said before, the real guru is God's representative. He represents the Supreme Lord, just as a viceroy represents a king. The real guru will not manufacture anything. Everything he says is in accordance with the scriptures and the previous acharyas or teachers. He will not give you a mantra and tell you that you will become God in 6 months. This is not a guru's business. A guru's business is to canvass everyone to become a devotee of God. That is the sum and substance of a real guru's business. Indeed, he has no other business. He tells whomever he sees, please become God conscious. If he canvasses somehow or other on behalf of God and tries to get everyone to become a devotee of God, he is a genuine guru. Reporter: What about a Christian priest? Srila Prabhupada: Christian, Muhammadan, Hindu, it doesn't matter. If he is simply speaking on behalf of God, he is a guru. Lord Jesus Christ, for instance, he canvassed people saying, just try to love God. Anyone, it doesn't matter who, be he Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, if a guru is a guru, if he convinces people to love God. That is the test. The guru never says, I am God, or I will make you God. The real guru says, I am a servant of God, and I will make you a servant of God also. It doesn't matter how the guru is dressed. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, whoever can impart knowledge about Krishna is a spiritual master. A genuine spiritual master simply tries to get people to become devotees of Krishna or God. He has no other business. Reporter, but the bad gurus, Srila Prabhupada, and what is a quote-unquote bad guru? Reporter, a bad guru just wants some money or some fame. Srila Prabhupada, well, if he is bad, how can he become a guru? How can iron become gold? Actually, a guru cannot be bad. For if someone is bad, he cannot be a guru. You cannot say bad guru. That is a contradiction. What you have to do is simply try to understand what a genuine guru is. The definition of a genuine guru is that he is simply talking about God. That's all. If he's talking about some other nonsense, then he's not a guru. A guru cannot be bad. There's no question of a bad guru, any more than a red guru or a white guru. Guru means genuine guru. We all have to know this. All we have to know is the genuine guru is simply talking about God and trying to get people to become God's devotees. If he does this, he is genuine. The reporter says, if I wanted to be initiated into your society, what would I have to do? Srila Prabhupada, first of all, you'd have to give up illicit sex life. Srila Prabhupada, ja. Reporter, does that include all sex life? What is illicit sex life? Srila Prabhupada, illicit sex is sex outside of marriage. Animals have sex with no restrictions, but in human society there are restrictions. In every country and in every religion, there is some system of restricting sex life. You would also have to give up all intoxicants, including tea, cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, anything that intoxicates. Reporter, anything else? Srila Prabhupada, you'd also have to give up eating meat, eggs, and fish. And you'd have to give up gambling as well. Unless you gave up these 4 sinful activities, you could not be initiated. Reporter, how many followers do you have throughout the world? Srila Prabhupada, for anything genuine, the followers. Oh, we got a question, hand raised by Ike here.
I keep forgetting to ask. So when they say gambling, does that include like investing in equities or investing in whatever commodities or real estate or crypto?
I mean, I would say yes, it's quite speculative. I mean, some devotees have their own, because they're doing it, they may say no, but I mean, it's quite speculative, especially those things. And what's interesting is that when you give your money to these things, Radha Krishna was pointing this out the other day. He was describing that when you put your money into these stocks and these things, all kinds of people are using it. It's like you're investing your money in it, and then these people are using it to gratify their senses. So you're taking on the karma of all this, whatever the interactions are going on when you're investing your money there. It's like we're implicating ourselves in sinful reactions
Yeah,
because
that's true. I mean, oh, sorry. A lot of these companies are doing nefarious stuff, and
yeah, so we're participating in that by buying into the company and whatever it may be. So there is some implications there, even beyond the gambling aspect of it, which is the gambling. It means that it's speculative. We don't know what's going to happen, and we're risking. We're taking unnecessary risks. Some people who do invest in the movement, they invest in like long-term bonds or something that's like more secure, like that. They may use their money in that way. I mean, I haven't gone into this deep enough. I know there are some persons who say it's not, if you do long-term things, it's not so bad. But what I've heard a consensus on is certainly short-term speculative exchanging. It can be, or trading is yeah, that's gambling.
I see. Yeah, I have to head out. Just wanted to ask that question, but thank you.
Yeah, I hope that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Have a nice night, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Reporter, anything else? Okay, we read that one. How many followers do you have throughout the world? Srila Prabhupada, for anything genuine, the followers may be very few. For something rubbish, the followers may be many. Still, we have about 5,000 initiated disciples. And this was, I don't remember what year this was, but that was just within a few years of, probably in the 70s. So between, 8 and 10 years or so of the Krishna consciousness movement spreading. Srila Prabhupada, oh, is the Krishna consciousness movement growing all the time? Yes, it is growing, but slowly. This is because we have so many restrictions. People do not like restrictions. Report. Hare Krishna. Where is your following the greatest? Srila Prabhupada. In the United States, Europe, South America, and Australia. And of course, in India, there are millions who practice Krishna consciousness. Reporter, could you tell me what the goal of your movement is? Srila Prabhupada, the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is to awaken man's original consciousness. At the present moment, our consciousness is designated. Someone is thinking, I'm an Englishman, and another is thinking, I'm an American. Actually, we do not belong to any of these designations. We are all part and parcel of God. That is our real identity. If everyone simply comes to that consciousness, all the problems of the world will be solved. Then we shall come to know that we are one, the same quality of spirit soul. The same quality of spirit soul is within everyone, although it may be in a different dress. This is the explanation given in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna consciousness is actually a purificatory process. Sarvapari vinirmuktam. Its purpose is to make people free from all designations. Tat pratvaina nirmalam. When our original consciousness becomes purified of all designations, the activities we carry out with our purified senses make us perfect. Eventually, we reach the ideal perfection of human life. Krishna consciousness is also a very simple process. It is not necessary to become a great philosopher, scientist, or whatever. We need only chant the holy names of the name of the Lord, understanding that His personality, His name, and His qualities are all absolute. Krishna consciousness is a great science. Unfortunately, in the universities, there is no department for this science. Therefore, we invite all serious men who are interested in the welfare of human society to understand this great movement, and if possible, take part in it and cooperate with us. The problems of the world will be solved. This is also the verdict of the Bhagavad Gita, the most important and authoritative book of spiritual knowledge. Many of you have heard of the Bhagavad Gita. Our movement is based on it. Our movement is approved by all great acharyas, or spiritual teachers in India. Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Lord Chaitanya, and so many others. You are all representatives of newspapers. So I ask you to try to understand this movement as far as possible for the good of all human society. Reporter, do you think your movement is the only way to know God? Yes, Srila Prabhupada says. How are you assured of that? Srila Prabhupada, from the authorities and from God, Krishna. Krishna says, Sarva dharmam prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma shuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Reporter, does surrender mean that someone would have to leave his family? Srila Prabhupada, no. But suppose I were to become an initiate, wouldn't I have to come and live in the temple? Not necessarily. Can I stay at home? Oh, yes. What about work? Would I have to give up my job? No, you'd simply have to give up your bad habits and chant the Hare Krishna mantra on these beads, that's all. Would I have to give any financial support? Srila Prabhupada, no. That is your voluntary wish. If you give, that's all right, and if you don't, we don't mind. We do not depend on anyone's financial contribution. We depend on Krishna. Reporter, I wouldn't have to give any money at all. No. Reporter, is this one of the main things that distinguishes the genuine guru from the fake guru? Srila Prabhupada, yes. A genuine guru is not a businessman. He's a representative of God. Whatever God says, the guru repeats. He does not speak otherwise. Reporter, but would you expect to find a real guru, say, traveling in a Rolls Royce and staying in a penthouse suite in a classy hotel? Srila Prabhupada, sometimes people provide us with a room in a first-class hotel, but we generally stay in our own temples. We have some 100 temples around the world, so we don't require to go to any hotels. Reporter, I wasn't trying to make any accusations. I was merely trying to illustrate that I think your warning is a valid one. There are so many people interested in finding a spiritual life, and at the same time, there are a lot of people interested in cashing in on the guru business. Srila Prabhupada, are you under the impression that spiritual life means voluntarily accepting poverty? Reporter, well, I don't know. Prabhupada, a poverty-stricken man may be materialistic, and a wealthy man may be very spiritual. Spiritual life does not depend on either poverty or wealth. Spiritual life is transcendental. Consider Arjuna, for instance. Arjuna was a member of a royal family, yet he was a pure devotee of God. And in the Bhagavad Gita 4:2, Krishna says, Evam para para praptamimam rajoshayo vidu. This supreme science was received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. In the past, all kings who were saintly understood spiritual science. Therefore, spiritual life does not depend on one's material condition. Whatever a person's material condition may be, he may be a king or a pauper. He can still understand spiritual life. Generally, people do not know what spiritual life is, and therefore they unnecessarily criticize us. If I asked you what spiritual life is, how would you answer? Well, I'm not sure. Oh, but although you don't know what spiritual life is, you still say it is this or it is that. But first, you should know what spiritual life is. Spiritual life begins when you understand that you are not your body. This is the real beginning of spiritual life. By seeing the difference between yourself and your body, you come to understand that you are a spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi. I want to make sure that if there's any questions, we can pause. So just before we keep moving, open it up a little bit. Any thoughts thus far? Did anybody have that conception or maybe still does of spiritualists having or yogis or gurus having to have no money? I never thought of it, but I guess some people have that idea.
I thought that they're not allowed to like collect, like just like you guys, like brahmachari can't collect or
Yeah, so we don't have like our own personal stock of cash. But actually, the Rupa Goswami described that a somebody who's entering into spiritual life, like typically a brahmachari wouldn't, because a brahmachari doesn't have a job even before typically, but someone who's exiting material life, exiting their family life, they would give 25% or I think it's 50% to the spiritual master. They give 25% to their family, um, and then they'd keep 25% for emergencies. So it is okay for spiritual masters or gurus who may be um, preaching Krishna consciousness to have some amount of money aside for an emergency situation that may be useful, especially because nowadays we're traveling all over the world to preach Krishna consciousness or for different events or whatever it may be. But yeah, typically they're not um, working, but you would find still it's not even, there are, I mean, yeah, brahmacharis typically wouldn't have a job because then it'd be better for them to get married. But sometimes there was times when Srila Prabhupada was still around that the temples were struggling and therefore brahmacharis and others were working actually, and they're giving their whole paychecks to the temple to maintain the temple. I like that. So in Krishna consciousness, we're not afraid of money. We're not afraid of whatever Krishna may send. We try to use everything in Krishna's service. And it's when we stop doing that that it becomes contaminating. Mhm. Okay. Just so you know, I've got $30 in my bank account. Just in case.
big baller.
I only keep it in there because I don't want them to close the bank account, and I use it for Zelle to collect donations for book distribution. Srila Prabhupada. So we'll read 2 more minutes, unless we've got actually. No, let's pause there. It's a good stopping point. And I went to there's a program this evening at Rasi Kinder's house, just near the temple. They'll have kirtan. They do every first Friday of the month. They have kirtan, dinner, little discussion, things like that. So I'm not sure how many of you guys will be going, but I'm gonna pop in and say Hare Krishna. And they're doing Singapore style noodles. Who knows what else Mother Paduduli will make? It's always it's a highlight when she cooks. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yes, everybody go to the program. Unfortunately, I said that I was going to go, but I'm still here working. And yeah, it's always an hour, 2 hours of absolutely phenomenal association. And yeah.
All right. So in the Himalayas, you may have heard of those yogis who are sitting in the mountain caves. They meditate all day long, and they just wear loincloths and they sit and they focus in their spiritual practice. But every once in a while, in the day or maybe in the week, they come out of their caves and they look around and they see all the other yogis coming out of their caves, and they stick their hands in the air and they say, Haribo! So all of us in our little Zoom rooms, we can come out of our Zoom room and we can unmute and say, Haribo!
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 Thank you, Bhaktivedanta. Thank you, Antonio,
Thank you.
Yogi, Barry, Darby, and Arjun. Haribo.
Haribo.
Haribo! Haribo!
Sorry, I was in the
Haribo!
bathroom.